The U.S.-Dakota War of 1862 started in the state of Minnesota. There lay the Dakota Sioux tribe. The settlers and the U.S. government wanted to expand their colony to build more cities and towns to call their own and expand their population. So they asked the Dakota to give up a large portion of their land for a large amount of money. This sounded like a great deal for the Dakota, so they agreed to the trade, and a treaty was passed between the two. Once the treaty was signed, the Dakota tribe was then pushed onto settlements and only had a small portion of their land left. They could not hunt, nor could they do the things that they used to do, since the U.S. now owns their hunting grounds. They were forced to farm, which they were very unfamiliar with due to traditional hunting. Most crops were killed and eaten by cutworms, which sent the Dakota into starvation, and they never got the promised money. The Dakota became furious at the U.S. and demanded their money back. What the Dakota didn't know was that the treaty was only in English. It had things they couldn't read, and so the U.S. would take advantage of this fact. A part of the treaty was that the Dakota would never get their money. Instead, the money would go towards the settlers to help build settlements and homes. On August 17, 1862, Chief Little Crow of the Dakota tribe sent 4 young Dakota men to try and steal eggs from the white settlers, but they were unsuccessful in this attempt. But when they finally found a settlement that they could steal from, they were stopped by the family, and so the 4 young Dakota men killed 5 members of the family and took off back to their home. Chief Little Crow was furious at these boys for starting more tension between the Dakota tribe and the settlers, but soon a group of Dakota attacked more settlements, killing many settlers, destroying homes, and starting the Dakota War of 1862. During the war, the Dakota attacked furiously at the U.S. government and decimated towns near the Minnesota River Valley. They attacked at Fort Ridgely, and it was led by none other than Chief Little Crow of the Dakota tribe. Chief Little Crow led 400 Dakota warriors to fight, and soon then doubled their numbers, attacking settlements, kidnapping settlers, and killing. The Battle of the New Ulm was one of the largest attacks on the settlers by the Dakota. The New Ulm was home to 2,000 settlers, but only 300 were skilled enough to fight. The 2,000 settlers were all evacuated as the Dakota attacked the New Ulm, setting fire to every home and attacking settlers on August 19th. This attack lasted till August 23rd. It was the largest evacuation during the war and killed many settlers and Dakota, but only 2 confirmed Dakota deaths would be confirmed due to the fact that the Dakota took their dead warriors away from the battlefield as soon as found. December 26, after Christmas Day, the Dakota War of 1862 ended, with the U.S. winning. Dakota families were captured because of crimes against America, the killing of innocent settlers, and much more. These trials that the Dakota had to go through were to decide if a Dakota were to be a slave or to be executed. They stood in front of Abraham Lincoln, who was an order of the U.S. Army. He was the main one to decide the fate of a Dakota. The Dakota War of 1862 goes into the history books of another war of stolen land from innocent natives and killing of natives who only wanted their land back. This war was also one of the biggest killing of American citizens and depopulated most of the area. This war also shows the story of why we have both states of the Dakota states and Minnesota, and why we have cities in those areas. This war is important to teach because it tells the history of how terrible the U.S. was and stole land without any thought of the people who lived in these lands. It shows the debate of the Dakota. They only wanted their land back, and they tried to solve this problem by fighting for it, but it only ended with the enemy winning. And this is the story of the Dakota War of 1862.